Hello, everybody. Good morning and welcome back to Sleep Over at Your Mom's. This is episode 8. Today is Wednesday, October 9th. How is everybody doing out there? Real quick, let's just go ahead and get something out of the way. If you remember the movie Varsity Blues, just say it with me. Penis, 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 vagina, vagina, vagina. Guys, I was reading a story yesterday. A little girl was trying to report that someone had touched her inappropriately, but her parents had taught her that her vagina was her cookie. So she kept saying somebody touched her cookie in class. She was telling a teacher, I don't know who she was telling, but she was telling somebody that somebody had touched her cookie, and they were telling her, "It's okay, honey, it's okay." Okay, why? Why are we doing things like this? It has a name. I mean, if you're an adult and your husband wants to call it your cookie, well, then let him call it your cookie. But we're not doing children a favor by telling them things that aren't true. I mean, it's not their cookie. It's her vagina. And I mean, okay, maybe that's not the word you want to use, but make sure that if something happens, they know the right word. I mean, it's crazy. Children are innocent. I give you a good example of children's innocence. Everything we learn, we pick up on social cues, we pick up on teachings from our parents. But my roommate's little boy is 4, and he is an absolute doll. I mean, he is an absolute doll, but he has recently discovered his penis. And let me just tell you, he likes it. He likes it a lot. And, with him being 4 and with this being the first time it's come up, at this point, he doesn't know that it's not appropriate for him to, for example, they were driving the other day somewhere, and she turns around in the back seat, and I mean, he has managed in his car seat to somehow, with the strap even coming up through the middle, has managed to get his shorts like over and down, and he's just back there just going to town. Just going to town. Kind of like masturbating on an airplane. I'm pretty sure it's frowned upon. But again, he didn't know there was anything wrong with that. He was just doing what felt good to him. I had a coworker one time. I don't know. Her son was, I want to say he was 7, 8 years old. He comes to her one day just crying. Mommy, my penis is bleeding. And she looks, and sure enough, he's bleeding. He has already rubbed this thing. Rubbed the skin slick off of it. She said, "Well, stop touching it." He said, "Well, I can't. It feels too good." I guess when you're a kid like that, playing with it's kind of like scratching a chicken pox. You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to scratch those chicken pox, but it just feels too damn good. It feels too damn good. Why are you going to stop? But, kids are funny. But by all means, teach them appropriate words. You are their outlet to the world. And maybe we should just stop shaming everybody for everything. Because of where I grew up, even though I'm much different than my parents, but because of where I grew up, I actually thought talking about a sexual topic on this show would not be very popular. But when you go back and look at the statistics, one of the shows that I talked about it the most, it still is getting crazy downloads and crazy views. And It blows me away. But I mean, okay. I mean, this show for me is it's about having fun. It's about being informative. It's about making people laugh. And I mean, informative. I mean, yeah, informative, but in a fun way. But there's so many things that just crack me up. Like I had a friend call me yesterday evening, and they've been in a relationship with this girl for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, and they'd been broke up. I mean, she broke up with him, and I mean, he was really heartbroken. And I don't know. I guess now she's decided that the grass wasn't so much greener on the other side. But while they were apart, I mean, he's confided in me about a lot of things, and he was in a bad relationship, and I think after the heartbreak cleared a little bit, he kind of realized that he was in a bad relationship, but now he's back to confused because she's hitting him up again. She's wanting to go out with him again. She's found out that the other people weren't what she thought it was going to be. And, I gave him a piece of advice, and it's not always easy advice to follow, but it's a whole lot easier to follow that advice than it is to go through with a bad plan. And let me explain. This advice was given to me by when I was an apprentice in the electrical industry many, many years ago. One of the first guys I worked with was an older gentleman by the name of Jack Parker. And Jack was, I mean, he was not only knowledgeable, he was smart, funny, but Jack gave pretty good advice. I mean, he had lived a long life, and he had lived a full one. I mean, Jack lived a great story. But his advice was, he said, "Son, do you ever eat cereal for breakfast?" And I said, "Well, yeah, Jack, I eat cereal for breakfast." He said, "Well, imagine you go and, you get the cereal out of the cabinet and you put the cereal out in a bowl." He said, "You go ahead and you throw your spoon in there. You go to the refrigerator, you open that bad boy up, and you get the milk out. And when you go to pour the milk in the cereal," he said, "sometimes the milk is so bad you notice it's bad before it ever hits the cereal. Sometimes you can't really see that it's bad." He said, "But when you get a hold of the bowl and you go to take a bite, either you smell it's bad, or if you go far enough to taste it, ugh, oh God, I mean, bad milk. There's nothing that tastes like that. I mean, it's not good. It's not good at all." But Jack's point was, if that milk is bad, you can't take that same carton of milk and put it back in the refrigerator and expect to come back tomorrow, the next week, the next month, the next year, and that milk be any better. He said, relationships are like the milk. He said, sometimes everything's great and everything's good, and sometimes it goes bad. Once that milk is bad, it's not ever going to be any good. And I mean, and I've been guilty of this. I mean, you're in a relationship and it ends, and for whatever reason, whether you were heartbroken, whether you were broke the heart, whether it was mutual, it doesn't matter, but something is why you all are not together. And that's what made the relationship go bad. And I'm not saying that people can't have a relationship, split up, and get back together, but no, it goes against nature. It goes against the milk theory. And by God, Jack was right. I mean, if that milk has gone bad, no, it's gone bad. Throw it out. Throw the milk out. I just, I don't get it. I don't get it, but, that was my advice to him, because, I mean, I've had to deal with the heartache and, I'm never going to find anybody else. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then, then you get to talking to him, and everything he tells you, I mean, he was unhappy in every way. I mean, in the relationship, he was unhappy in every way. I mean, he started to, finding himself again, and then he gets back in this trap that, she's called back. And I want to go a little bit farther into the psyche of that and what I believe in. No, I'm sure of it. They had some bomb-ass sex. I mean, they had like a crazy sexual chemistry. Now, the relationship itself, the other part of the relationship was horrible. But, I mean, sexual chemistry it's a strong bond. It's a strong bond, and it will pull you through some shit. But it can also be a bad thing. Because maybe that's all you have with this person is sexual chemistry. And if that's all you have, maybe your relationship needs to just be one of, friends with benefits. Hell, I mean, maybe you're not even friends. I mean, maybe it's just an acquaintance with benefits. I mean, if that's what it is and that's what you want to do, okay, knock yourself out. But, don't get yourself, emotionally involved in that again, because there wasn't anything you really liked about it. Not anything at all. But just the milk. And, and I hope everybody's day is going really good. I mean, I'm going to tell you a little bit about mine. It kind of started off, I woke up, everything was great. And, I have a routine in the mornings. I have a schedule. I get up, and if it's a day that I'm going to go run or go exercise, I get up and I get a drink of water, and I pretty much head out the door. Because if I'm going to do that, I'm going to do it, get it done, knock it out, be done. And then when I come back, and then on days I don't exercise, this would be where my day would begin. When I come back, I make a cup of coffee, and I'll start having my coffee, and and I still smoke. I'm wanting to give up the cigarettes, and I'm going to try here soon. But no, I can't really try. There is no trying. If you try something, if you say you're going to try something, you're just setting yourself up for failure. Don't try shit. Do shit. If you're going to do something, do it. Just do shit. I mean, Nike, just do it. Just add it at the end. Just do shit. But I have the coffee, and I get a cigarette, and I'll sit on the balcony, and I'll catch up on different feeds and news and what have you. But then at some point in there, my body relaxes. And when my body relaxes, it's time for me to head on into that bathroom. Just slide on in there, because it's the time of day to get the business done. Well, just to give you a little information, my bathroom, I've got a clothes hamper sitting in the bathroom right across from the old toilet. And it's got a, lid on it. It's a wicker hamper. It's got a lid on it. So most days I will take, the old cup of Joe here, and I'll set it down on the wicker hamper when I get ready to use the bathroom. Well, today I go in there, and I have a lot of lights that I control, with my watch, with my phone, with my voice to Alexa. And that bitch just came on right now, listening to me. Anyway, I go in there, and I didn't have my watch on yet. I had not got it off the charger. Well, when I get to the bathroom, it's dark, and the bathroom light itself, I don't like to turn on, because it's got that noisy ass fan. I mean, it sounds like a damn 747 landing in the bathroom. I mean, and most of them don't even, they wouldn't suck the sweetest smelling fart out of a room, much less anything major. But that's why I don't turn that light on. Well, I get my coffee and I go to set it down. Well, last night when I got home and I took a shower, I must have knocked the lid off the hamper, or I didn't put the lid back on the hamper. I drop pretty much a half a cup of coffee just straight down into the hamper on the clothes. Not really, how I wanted to start out today, but that's something else. It wasn't how I wanted to start out today, but for whatever reason, it's what happened. Now, did I get mad? Did I get upset? No, I laughed about it because, the shit was funny. It's like all of a sudden, the door just came right out from under the pot. The cup, and right down she went. So, whatever happens to you, roll with the punches. Stay positive in your life. Stay positive. Stay positively funny. And no matter what's going on, my advice, find something to laugh about. Sometimes for me, and for anybody really, if you can get to this point, the best thing to ever laugh about is yourself. Because, if you can't admit some of the things you do are crazy or funny, and whether it's you walk into a door frame, whether it's you kind of lose track of what you're doing, and the next thing you know, you're in a friend's car, or you're in the back of an Uber and you've got it out playing with it. Don't try that. Don't try that. If you're 4, you can get by with it. When you get a little bit older, hopefully you've picked up on enough social cues. Don't do that because, you're going to scare some people because it's so out of the ordinary, and scaring people, social media, especially if you have, a small business, or if you're trying to do something, social media is important this day and age. And and I like social media for a lot of reasons, but there's several times. I've had Facebook and I've just turned it off because, at those times, other people, it became somewhere, I love seeing pictures of grandkids. I even love seeing pictures of what somebody's eating. I love me some food. I love to post me some pictures of some food, whether I made it or whether I'm, out somewhere getting something great. But it became, where people just posted whatever bullshit drama that was going on in their life, or just hate toward everybody else. And this show will never be about politics because, politics, if you want to talk about something that I think is personal, I would much rather a friend come sit down with me and start masturbating than I would talk about politics. Because I find one to be, I'm just going to I'm going to chuckle at you a little bit if you start doing it in front of me, but not in a bad way to distract you, or if I become distracting, I'm going to walk away. For whatever reason, you need to do it. But talking about politics, no, it's not good, and it's not just about politics, but it's whatever belief you have. The doors, people are strange when you're a stranger. Okay, yes, that's very true. People are, when you go somewhere different and you see something different, it's strange. But that don't make them bad people. But some lady literally posted, and me, I'm going to say some words that I think the burqas that women from the Middle East wear. Okay, do I understand a burqa? No. To me, I always just assumed, and this was a wrong assumption, by the way, but I always assumed the reason the men wanted their women to wear these things over their face is because they were just so hideously fucking ugly. They didn't want anybody to realize that was their partner. Yeah, I'm rolling up with her. No, Just cover it up. I mean, it's like one guy I worked with. I mean, he brought his wife with him everywhere he went. I mean, literally, when he came to work at 7 o'clock in the morning, this lady gets up and comes with him to work. And she would sit in the car during the day while he was working, or, if we were working on, a commercial building that was, next to a shopping center or something, she would go shopping. But, old Teddy, he brought her everywhere that he went. And I asked him one day why. I mean, I thought, maybe they were homeless. The car was all they had. But no, that wasn't the case at all. He said, well, have you seen her? And I said, well, yeah, Teddy, I was brought to be respectful. I'm like, yeah, Teddy, I've seen her. I said, she seems like a really sweet lady. Because she did seem like a really sweet lady. She was ugly as fuck, but she was a sweet lady. He said, would you want to kiss her bye? He had a point. I mean, no, I would not ever want to kiss her bye, not ever. But, guys, stop hating people just because you don't understand something. I mean, why do they wear burqas? Because it's part of their belief. I mean, why do we do some of the crazy ass things that we do? It's because of how we grew up. But, if you've not had the opportunity to go out and experience different places in the world, I'm sorry. Maybe it wasn't important to you. Maybe you just thought it wasn't possible. Whatever the reason, but when you live in an area and you've lived a sheltered life, don't hate people just because they're different. I encourage you not to hate anyone at all. If you don't want to like someone, that's one thing. Because not liking someone, the best way to not like someone is don't talk to them, don't think about them, don't ever say anything about them. Just let them be. It's much better for your mental state. But, just because you don't believe in something, just because you don't understand something, don't hate it. And for God's sake, guys, don't kiss an ugly woman bye. Don't kiss an ugly man bye. I mean, unless you're ugly yourself, and then I guess it's okay. But, but if two people are ugly, they don't see each other as ugly. And that's the wonderful thing about the world. But, guys, remember, if you got questions, 305-699-55855, 305-699-5855. Email us at jamie@wtfarewedowingnow.com. Remember, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. There's a link down at the bottom. It's kind of small, but we're getting closer to having a granddaughter. We're getting excited. Guys, that's all for me. I'll see you tomorrow.